This is a LibriVox recording. All LibriVox recordings are in the public domain. For more information or to volunteer, please visit LibriVox.org. This recording is by Mark Smith of Simpsonville, South Carolina. Uncle Remus by Joel Chandler Harris. Chapter 5. The Story of the Deluge and How It Came About. "One time," said Uncle Remus, adjusting his spectacles so as to be able to see how to thread a large darning needle with which he was patching his coat. "One time, way back yonder, 'fore you was born, honey, and 'fore Mars John or Miss Sally was born, way back yonder, 'fore any of us was born, the animals and the creatures sorter lectioneer round 'mong themselves, twell at last they agreed fer to have an assembly. In dem days," continued the old man, observing a look of incredulity on the little boy's face, "in dem days creatures had lots more sense than they got now. Let alone dat, they had sense same like folks. Hit was tech and go wid 'em too, man, and when they make up der minds what hatter be done, 'twa'n't mo' than mention, for hit was done. Well, they 'lected dat day hatter hold er assembly fer to sorter straighten out marters and hear de complaints, and when de day come dey was on hand. De lion, he was dar, 'cause he was de king, and he hatter be dar. De rhinoceros, he was dar, and de elephant, he was dar, and de camels, and de cows, and plumb down to de crawfishes, they was dar. They was all dar. And when de lion shook his mane and took his seat in de big cheer, den de session begun fer to commence." "What did they do, Uncle Remus?" asked the little boy. "I can't sca'cely call to mind exactly what they did do, but they spoke speeches and hollered and cussed, and flung der language round jest like when your daddy was gwineter run for the legislator and got left. Howsomever, dey ranged der affairs and splained der business. By, while dey was disputin' longer one or another, the elephant trampled on one of de crawfishes. Co'se, when dat creetur put his foot down, whatsomever's under der was bound fer to be squished, and der wa'n't enough of dat crawfish left fer to tell dat he been dar. Dis make de other crawfishes mighty mad, and dey sorter swarmed toge'rr and drawed up a kinder preamble wid some wherefores in it, and read her out in dat there assembly. But, bless gracious, such a racket was a gwine on that nobody ain't hear it, 'ceppin' maybe de mud turkle and de spring lizard, and der influence was powerful lackin'. By, whiles de unicorn was sputin' with de lion, and while de hyener was a-laughin' to hisself, de elephant squished another one of de crawfishes, and little mo'n he'd a ruint de mud turkle. Den de crawfishes, what dey was left of 'em, swarmed together and drawed up another preamble wid some more wherefores, but they might as well have sung Old Dan Tucker inter a harricane. De other creeturs was too busy wid de fussin' fer to spawn under de crawfishes, so der they was, de crawfishes, and they didn't know what minute was gwineter be de next, and dey kep on gettin' madder and madder and skeereder and skeereder, twell by they 'gun to wink ter de mud turkle and de spring lizard, and den they bowed little holes in de ground and went down outer sight." "Who did, Uncle Remus?" asked the little boy. "De crawfishes, honey. Dey bowed into de ground and kep on bowin' till dey unloosed de fountains of de youth, and de water squirt out and rose higher and higher twell de hills was kivered, and de creeturs was all drownded, all because they let on 'mong demselves dat they was bigger dan de crawfishes. Then the old man blew the ashes from a smoking yam, and proceeded to remove the peeling. "Where was the ark, Uncle Remus?" the little boy inquired, presently. "Which ark's dat?" asked the old man, in a tone of well-feigned curiosity. "Noah's ark," replied the child. "Don't you pester wid ole man Noah, honey. I bound he took keer er dat ark. Dat's w'at he wuz dar for, en dat's w'at he done. Leas'ways, dat's w'at dey tells me. But don't you bodder longer dat ark, 'ceppin' your mammy fetches it up. Der might a bin 2 deluges, en den agin, der mightn't. Ef der wuz any ark in dish yer w'at de crawfishes brung on, I ain't heerd tell un it, en w'en dey ain't no arks 'roun', I ain't got no time fer ter make um put one in dar. It's gittin' on your bedtime, honey." End of chapter.